Well, hey there. Looks like it's 7 o'clock on Thursday because I'm here and that's what time my live stream kicks off. So I'll just warm up my fingers a little bit, waiting for the first person to show up. Well, anyway, hello, I'm Carl Rubino. This is Thursday night, so it must be my Live from a Distance weekly live stream here on Facebook.com/Carl Rubino Music, my Facebook music page, where every Thursday, unless I screw up and forget, I do a live stream of almost exclusively my own songs. Every once in a while I'll do a cover. The cover could be something well-known that you'd recognize, or something played by a less well-known, or written rather, by a less well-known songwriter whose work I happen to really like. Tonight I'm doing just my own songs. And I've actually, this doesn't happen often because I don't really encourage it, but I've gotten a couple of emails requesting a couple of different songs, so I'll include those tonight. I think the first of those, one of the requests was 2 Days Out, so I'll open with that. Two days out on a 4-lane road, another day of broken lines till he can head for home. Her picture on the visor catches the fading light. 2 days out, he's missing her tonight. 2 days out and he's missing her tonight. His cold hard steering wheel is all that he'll hold tight. They share the emptiness of a cold and lonely night. 2 days out, he's missing her tonight. She puts on his favorite shirt, lies on his side of the bed, with her head on his pillow and a book that won't get read. She looks at his picture as she turns out the light. 2 days out, she's missing him tonight. 2 days out, she's missing him tonight. His empty pillow is all that she'll hold tight. They share the emptiness of a cold and lonely night. 2 days out, she's missing him tonight. He pulls into an all-night diner in East New Mexico. She wakes up once again, turns on the late-night show. He stares into his cup of coffee, she looks at the phone. 2 days out, it's another night alone. 2 days out and he's missing her tonight. Their undying love will get them through despite the miles that come between them on a cold and lonely night. 2 days out, she's missing him tonight. And his heart hanging on when there's no one there to hold, but the miles that come between them won't catch their bands of gold. Two days out, he's missing her tonight. Their undying love get them through despite the miles that come between them on a cold and lonely night. 2 2 days out, he's missing him tonight. 2 days out, he's missing her tonight. 2 days out, she's missing him. He's missing her. She's missing him tonight. That was 2 days out. Not yet recorded by me. I licensed that recording to somebody else from Nashville who recorded it on his album using many of the players in Alan Jackson's road band, and his recorded version of this song that I wrote wound up getting a fair amount of regular airplay on a country station, or syndicated country station in Nashville, Australia. So that's kind of nice. I'm happy about that. Someday I'll record it. Okay, so I think for my next song, I'm going to play a song that I actually wrote long ago, but then I rewrote it. It was a series of verses, and just verses, no chorus, no instrumental. And more recently, like a few weeks ago, a month or so ago, I decided I was going to record that song, or rewrite the song, with a bridge in it. Lynn Nesdale, hi, how are you? Have you moved yet? Or are you still in the Northeast? And thanks for the mention of the sound. I'm always curious as to what the sound's doing, because these headphones are coming out of my mixing board, so I'm not hearing what you're hearing in Facebook. Glad you made it. Anyway, as you know, I think, you can catch these the recording of these broadcasts that I post to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Carl Rubino Music, shortly after the session's over. And the song I just played was 2 days out, but I'll probably be recording it sometime. So anyway, back to this song. It's called When the Maples Turn to Cinnamon. And I lived for many years here I still live in the Adirondacks, but for many years I lived in the eastern Adirondacks in farmland. And it was always really neat when the geese would come in on their way heading south, because it marked the change of the season. Winter was coming. And so I wrote this song using the geese somewhat metaphorically. And when I first wrote it, it was all verses, and, you know, in mainstream songwriting, songs with just verses, unless you're like Bob Dylan or one of a couple of other people, don't really work. And I have some songs that are just verse, but I decided I'd put a bridge into this. So this is the 2020 version of a song I wrote some time ago called When the Maples Turn to Cinnamon. When they bank and turn against the northern skies, the clouds hold back the rain. When the maples turn to cinnamon, from Montreal to the coast of Maine, and the geese always come too soon before the leaves release their hold, like the first smoke from a chimney before the cold winds blow. When the maples turn to cinnamon, from Montreal to the coast of Maine, and the cold winds flow. He watches as they turn in flight, their positions rearrange. He knows they'll only stay the night. They've come to mark the change, and he wonders as he sees them glide how they'll fare this year. Will they both survive? Will the winter be severe? When the maples turn to cinnamon, from Montreal to the coast of Maine, they come to mark the change. Ruth, he says, with a troubled smile, it'll soon be getting cold. We'll ache each time we use our hands, and we'll miss the children so. And I know, he says, as the first one lands in the fields they used to sow, I guess this must be what it's like when time takes its toll, when the maples turn to cinnamon from Montreal to the coast of Maine, when time takes its toll. We make each other laugh and cry to keep from getting old. But Ruth, my dear, what will we do when one of us lets go? Stanley, she says to him with a twinkle in her eye, I don't know about you, my dear, but I ain't fixing to die. And though the setting sun may find new lines upon our brow, we'll both be standing here, I'm sure, 1 year's time from now. So come inside the house, dear man, she says, and takes his hand. And as the last words leave her lips, the geese touch the land when the maples turn to cinnamon. The last words leave her lips, and the geese touch the land. When the maples turn to cinnamon. So, you know, it's funny, or maybe it's not funny. When you're young, you never think about dying. You're going to live forever when you're young. When you're older, you think it just might be possible. Maybe that's kind of what influenced that song. Anyway, when the maples come to cinnamon, turn to cinnamon, someday it'll be recorded. I'm going to record some singles and put them up on my website, maybe on Spotify. You know, back in the olden days, people used to, you know, record nothing for like a year and a half. They'd do a whole album, they'd release that. Things have changed. So anyway, as I was saying earlier when we started, I got some requests for songs, and I'm going to play some of those. Here's another one. This is Jimmy and Stella, or Love Doesn't Always Play in Tune. It's on my CD. It's probably my most requested song. Jimmy was a truck driving man, and Stella was a star of the night. To see those two together was a really sorry sight. One too many bottles have been pressed to Jimmy's lips. One too many men have been drawn to Stella's hips. It wasn't always quite the same. They had different lives back when. Jimmy drove those 18 wheels with pride and a dividend, till his wife ran off and took the kids while his wheels rolled through the West. He came back and lived alone and tried his level best. And Stella kept a house and kids and a mortgage round her neck, as long as she called back the debt her husband left her with. They built their love out of loneliness, desperation to find their dreams. But no one's keeping score no more, and no one's giving in. And they danced to the beat of a different drummer. They tangoed on the dark side of the moon. It's hard to see what they saw in each other, but love doesn't always play in tune. They go out on Friday nights to a local roadhouse bar. Stella'd take the keys from Jim so he couldn't get too far. Jimmy'd take a seat at the bar, he'd settle in for the night. Stella, she'd get restless, she was really quite a sight. In a tight red skirt that said it all and made the boys want more. Stella'd take a seat at the bar, her eyes fixed at the door. A tall, dark stranger'd saunter in and Stella'd saunter out. Jimmy'd only notice if his money had run out. And they danced to the beat of a different drummer. They tangoed on the dark side of the moon. It's hard to see what they saw in each other, but love doesn't always play in tune. And Jimmy'd say, bartender, another Boilermaker, please. Stella'd be in the parking lot, she was anybody's squeeze. It might have been a Freightliner, a Bulldog, or a Peterbilt. Stella'd be in the back of the cab without the slightest hint of guilt. And as the bartender announced, last call, Stella'd drift back in. She'd straighten out her skirt and wake up Jimmy with a pat on the chin. They'd venture out in the dark of night, arm in arm or hand in hand. Each night was about the same, like it was the way things had always been. And they danced to the beat of a different drummer. They tangoed on the dark side of the moon. It's hard to see what they saw in each other, but love doesn't always play in tune. Yeah, love doesn't always play in tune. Love doesn't always play in tune. Jimmy and Stella, love doesn't always play in tune, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I left about a half a verse out. But, you know, that's life. I don't get too excited when I screw up a song. I screwed up a little bit in the first one too, but here's when I realized that was perfectly okay. One of my all-time favorite writers and performers was John Prine, and I've had the luck to see John Prine a few times before he died. Actually, there's a connection to this song with John Prine. I'll get to that. But one of the times I saw him in Burlington, Vermont, he was playing with a full band, and he kicked off his song, one of his most famous and well-known songs, Sam Stone. And he got to, I think it was the second verse, and he really screwed it up badly. If you're playing by yourself, you can get through that. You can play through it. You got a whole band, you got to stop and start over again. 3 times. Yeah, how many? Yeah. 3 times he had to do that song. The last time he attempted it, the audience sang the verse for him, so he couldn't screw it up again. And then, not a screw up, I can't read that. A reinterpretation. You know, all right, so I'll get to that one. Thanks, Lynn. That's great. That's like a jazz concept. Anyway, so I was watching a Christmas special this year, Garth Brooks, Trisha Yearwood. Garth Brooks is doing, I don't think it was one of his songs. I think it might have been a Christmas song. And he got to one of the verses, and he completely screwed it. He completely went up. So he finished the chorus, and then he looks up like this. And he goes, we can get through this. And Trisha Yearwood's looking at him like, Garth, you're on national television. There are millions of people watching you. Good luck, dude. He pulls it out. Chantel, wow, how are you? Probably haven't seen you in a couple of years or so. Thank you so much for dropping in. Chantel, I think you're new here, so Let me tell you this. I record these as I'm doing them. These are live, obviously. I record them as I'm doing them, and then I post them on Facebook.com/Carl Rubino Music afterwards. So you can go there and see the part of this that you missed, or you can see previous ones. Here is that information for you. Wait a minute. I don't know why the hell that happens with the lighting, but anyway. Oh, there we go. So there's my website, my music Facebook page, my email address, and my my busking and tip jar online at paypal.me. So if you wanted to get all that stuff, the website, you don't have to worry about writing it down. Go to the posted video and you can find it there. And the reason I mention the website is I'm going to record some of these songs in the future as singles, and when I do, I'll put them on the website. Also, on the website, if you're interested, you can go to the bottom of the home page and subscribe to my newsletter that comes out every few months or so, where I'll tell you what I'm doing. As COVID goes away, I'll be looking to do house concerts and stuff like that. So anyway, Lynn, the idea of reinterpretation. So in jazz, there's this saying that if you screw up a note, don't just play it once, because that's a screw up. Play it twice, the same screwed up note, and people are saying, I wonder where he's going with that. Play it 3 times, and they're going, wow, that's really cool. I've never heard anybody do it that way before. So anyway, that's that one. I usually play for a half an hour. It's been 25 minutes. I'm going to do at least one more song, maybe 2. I think I'm going to do another brand new song, never been done anywhere. I wrote this about 2 months ago. Let me just say it this way. I've lost plenty of dogs in my life, that have died. And I've often gotten the feeling that from time to time they come to visit you. This isn't about a dog. I remember you in every place we ever went. When I walk by one, it's like you were heaven sent. I stare at your shadow, it stares back at me, and I remember you there. In the night when I wake up in a cold sweat all alone, rain pounding on the window glass that we once made our home. Bed's half empty on your side, and I remember you there. I held your hand as you slipped away. I remember you on that final fateful day. I remember your cold blank stare, like you were looking out, trying to look back in. Lying under white sheets in a cold hospital bed, you said you'd be my angel if you couldn't be there instead. In the space left behind where my heart used to live, I remember you there. When the tears stream down my face, I can almost feel your warm embrace. I can almost feel you, yeah, and I remember you there. It almost seems as though we can still share our sweet times in the darkest of my moments for the rest of my time. I'll always remember when I was yours and you were mine, and I'll remember you remember you. I'll remember you. There. So that's called "I'll Remember You There." It's a brand new song. Wrote it about a month ago. I don't know it yet, but anyway, I kind of like it a lot. And I'll probably be recording it at some point. Hey, how are you? And nice to see you. Nice for dropping by, Blaney. I think this might have been the first one you're at, so you might not know that I record these while I'm doing them, and then I post them on this Facebook page, so you can go see them there later. I think I'm going to do another one. One more. This is called Rio Moon. So here's where this song came from. Years ago, I was in a songwriting group in Burlington, a bunch of pretty decent songwriters, and we'd get together every couple of months and talk about ideas about writing songs. And every once in a while, we'd throw down a challenge or a prompt or a suggestion. And it could be a word or a phrase or a concept, and everybody was invited to write a song that had to do with it. So on this particular occasion, the word was moon. So you could write a song about the moon or that had the moon in it. And I wrote this, Rio Moon. Adios, mi amigos, he held out his hand as the moon bathed his face on the banks of the Rio Grande. Silver in the moonlight, a tiny twisting band lay awake before him as the moon lit up the land. The love of a woman burned through his soul that night. He knew she'd be there waiting. He knew she'd be his wife. For the touch of her hand, he'd gladly risk his life. And he heard his mother's words as he stood in the pale moonlight. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night, for the face that smiles upon you will take your life that night. The sentries in the towers are trained to shoot on sight. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night. Crouched behind the sagebrush, the searchlight beam swung by. He nearly felt a shudder as he sprung into the night. The tracers hit the water, they fell short of their mark. He splashed ashore on the other side and he vanished in the dark. And the moon over his shoulder lit a path as bright as day to the rancho where his love did lie. His passion led the way, but as his cheek pressed the window pane, he felt his soul betrayed. For in the arms of the rancher, his love did dance and sway. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night, for the face that smiles upon you will take your life that night. The sentries in the towers are trained to shoot on sight. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night. Before the moon had traced its arc, he stood once more in its light that sparkled on the Rio as the searchlight sealed his plight. With his mother's words resounding clear, he took his fateful step, while the visions of his love burned deep as the pounding in his chest. And as the tracers hit the water in the instant before their mark, he howled up at the moon, his words split the dark. Adios, mi amigos, adios, my mother dear. Pull my body across the Rio where the moon shines so clear. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night, for the face that smiles upon you will take your life that night. The sentries in the towers are trained to shoot on sight. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night. My son, don't swim the Rio on a moonlit moonlit summer night. My son don't swim the Rio on a moonlit summer night. Rio Moon. Not yet recorded by me, but it will be. I'm having trouble. Is it Vladi Dolazar? Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Thank you so much for dropping by. That was my last song, but you're in luck, because I record these live streams as they're happening, and then probably within a few minutes of when they are over, I post the recording to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Carl Rubino Music. So you can go see this entire one, unless I screw up the recording transfer, and some of the prior ones. And also, if you'd like to see more of what I do, oh, it's upside down. That's not too good. Here is my website that has all about me. It has my music. You can listen to the stuff that I have recorded on there on my CD. I think you can listen to the whole thing for free. You can buy downloads if you want. The Facebook.com Carl Rubino Music page where I do these streams and post the recordings of them is listed. So is my email if you want to get in touch with me. And if you want to throw a couple of bucks into my tip jar, paypal.me/Carl Rubino Music. I think you have to use initial caps. I do this every Thursday. I'd love to see you again next time. Typically, I do all originals. Every once in a while, a cover. And sometimes when I do a cover, it's a cover of probably somebody you've never heard of, a songwriter whose work I think is great that may not be completely out there. So anyway, I see we've gone over our half hour, and that's I kind of like to try to keep it down to that. So thank you all so much for coming. Stay safe from the plague, and hopefully I'll see you next week. And if you miss it, go to the Facebook.com page and listen to the past ones, and please share them. Tell your friends. You can also find me on Spotify as a Spotify artist. Take care, everybody. Spread the love. Thanks for coming.